What if I told you the next world war won't start with missiles or nukes, but with a single narrow sea passage being blocked? These tiny choke points control the world's trade and oil, and if even one of them stops, entire superpowers could fall overnight. Hello friends, I'm Geoscopy, and if by mistake anyone in the world tries to clock control or harm any choke points, then 996 gold watches will be free. So, on the 1st of June 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed between the Allied powers UK, France, USA, and Italy, and the Central Powers Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. According to this treaty, since the Central Power countries had lost in World War I, they had to pay full reparations to the Allied forces. This treaty officially marked the end of World War I, and the economic impact it had on Germany became the spark that ignited World War II. This spark caught fire because, in terms of war reparations, Germany had to pay $90 billion, which, if seen in today's terms, would be more than $15 trillion. On one hand, Germany had to keep paying this huge amount, and on the other, due to restrictions on its maritime boundaries, it could not even trade freely. And if a country's trade is controlled, then basically the entire country is controlled. Even today, this lesson is relevant. If you want to bring a country to its knees, you control its pressure points. For example, China is using this same strategy in modern times, as you may already know under the name China debt trap. But apart from that, the most common and effective way is to establish control over key sea choke points. Because even today, most of the world's trade happens through sea routes. And if any choke point is blocked, then the trade stops, and when trade stops, economies collapse. If a superpower collapses, the shockwaves are so political that the whole world gets affected. A superpower's fall equals the potential for a World War III, and this can happen due to control over choke points. Let's understand this with a case study. On January 3, 2020, the world almost came to the brink of World War III. That's when American troops carried out a drone strike and killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. In retaliation, Iran launched missiles on the Al-Asad base in Iraq. Looking at this missile exchange, you can imagine how tense and inflamed the relations between these countries were. In fact, the whole incident escalated because of one small region, Strait of Hormuz, where both sides wanted dominance. Now, choke points are basically narrow sea passages that connect to larger seas. For example, between India and Sri Lanka lies the Pak Strait, which connects the Bay of Bengal with the Gulf of Mannar. Because such straits connect major water bodies, they become natural shipping routes. But since they are so narrow, they are prone to risks like piracy, storms, and accidents. Why are these dangerous yet still used by countries today? There are three main reasons. 1. Easy access and attraction. The Suez Canal is one of the most famous choke points. Before it was built, ships from Asia to Europe had to travel all the way around Africa. With the canal, time, cost, and risks decreased dramatically. 2. Geopolitical superiority. Geopolitics studies how geography influences politics. As we discussed earlier, if a country controls another's trade routes, it essentially controls that country. Example, the Strait of Gibraltar between Spain and Morocco is controlled by the UK even today, giving it influence over both continents. 3. Geographical factors. Sea travel is very different from land travel with unique challenges. Narrow passages choke points help ships cross quickly and safely, which is why they remain in use. Now, how can choke points trigger world wars? Let's divide them into two categories. Oil choke points, geopolitical choke points. Energy today is largely dependent on oil. Nearly 30% of the world's power is generated from it. The choke points are crucial here. Strait of Hormuz, where oil originates and is exported from the Persian Gulf. Strait of Malacca, where oil is transported to Asia, China, Japan, South Korea. Almost 3.3 million liters of oil pass through Hormuz daily, and about 76% of this oil passes through Malacca Strait. This is why these straits are so vital. Any disruption here would hit global manufacturing giants. On the other side, the choke points are more geopolitical. Suez Canal connects the Mediterranean Sea with the Red Sea. Panama Canal connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Together, these account for 8% of global trade. We all remember in 2021, when a single ship got stuck in the Suez Canal, the entire world's trade was disrupted, costing nearly $800 billion in losses. Imagine if someone deliberately blocked or captured it. Could that not trigger a world war? However, some experts disagree. For example, U.S. Naval War College senior professor Milan Vago argues that with modern military technology, the importance of choke points has decreased. According to him, advanced navies can wage war even in open waters, not just around straits. So, the real question is not who controls choke points, but who controls the seas. Now, what do you think? Is the professor right, or is he just downplaying the potential of choke points? Let me know in the comments. And if you learned something new from this video, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, so you don't miss more such interesting and knowledgeable videos. See you next time, friends. Till then, keep learning and keep growing.